Oh my God, it's the end of the world. Mike Perlmutter has been laid off from Marvel, and everybody's already posting all their videos going, oh, Marvel's going downhill. Victoria Alonso's fired. Now, like Perlmutter, like everybody's just losing their mind. It's the end of the MCU, people. Oh my God. Isn't this crazy, Jimmy? Oh my God. Jimmy don't know what the hell. He just says yes to everything. So let's just get on with the article, okay? And I'm gonna tell you why this isn't exactly the biggest deal in history, as some YouTube channels will make you think. So who is Mike Perlmutter? So I will actually explain who he is. And apparently he just got laid off. And of course we had Victoria Alonso, who's been with Marvel since the beginning of the MCU, before it was even sold to Disney. She got fired because of a lot of stuff that she was doing, that she produced a movie that wasn't Disney or Marvel related, but that's a discussion for another day completely. So Ike Perlmutter, a lot of you guys might know this man because he's kind of... Look, me personally, I don't know the man personally. I just think some of his decisions are idiotic and stupid. So Mike Perlmutter was basically over Kevin Feige before Kevin Feige was granted full power by Bob Iger, and he made some really stupid decisions. Like one of the decisions was changing the composers of movies because he felt like composers are swappable. You really don't need to have any consistency with the music, and he told Kevin, like, he didn't want to spend the money on the composers. That's a major reason why in Avengers we have that Avengers theme, the bum 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 bum, but in Age of Ultron it's not there because he felt like, you know, composers and scores aren't important in movies. Nobody's paying attention to movies with their scores. Yeah, that's why we have the... Music is important. And the fact that Star Wars hasn't used any Star Wars music in any of their Disney Plus shows, it just annoys the hell out of me. But that's not Ike Perlmutter. But Ike Perlmutter did not want to use the scores and composers of the other movies in their movies, right? That's why Age of Ultron has different music than Avengers and Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, because they did not want to go back. Once Perlmutter was gone, they went back and got the original composers. That's why the music is consistent after the Phase 2 era. Same thing with Thor Dark World. Thor Dark World doesn't have the same music as the first Thor, and anything in that phase, really, you can really see the scores aren't consistent with Phase 1 and 3. Like Phase 2 is kind of like out on its own thing. Well, Kevin Feige and Ike Perlmutter were clashing a lot back in the early days of Marvel, and they actually decided, Bob Iger actually decided, okay, well, we're going to let Kevin Feige oversee this thing, and he's going to do his thing, and we're going to move Ike Perlmutter over to the TV division. So he was doing stuff like the Netflix shows, he was doing stuff like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all that, and he wasn't, and that's why those shows aren't considered MCU canon, because they kind of went and did their own thing. And although they tried very hard to loosely connect the MCU in the early phases of Daredevil, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Luke Cage, all that stuff, by referring to the incident and all that stuff, it was very clearly they were moving in a different direction than the movies. And that's because Ike Perlmutter had no control over the MCU at that time, because Kevin Feige was getting more and more power as the movies were getting more and more successful. So Ike Perlmutter was really like the roadblock stopping Kevin Feige from really advancing and really making the movies to the quality that he wanted to do. The reason why once Ike Perlmutter was out of the picture, they moved forward with the Black Panther movie. They moved forward with getting back the original composers, because now Kevin Feige didn't have to answer to anyone other than Alan Horn and Bob Iger. Ike Perlmutter was no longer a part of the whole discussion of the MCU. But a lot of other YouTube channels will make you think that this is a much bigger problem for the MCU than it really is. People are going to come on here and they're going to post videos like it's the end of the Marvel, it's the end of the MCU, and that's the narrative for their videos to get clickbaits. You know, at the end, you know, I might even run with that title, to be honest with you, because I know it's going to get clicks. But the truth of the matter is not the end of the MCU, because Ike Perlmutter was basically non-existent for the past 5, 6, maybe 7 years. You know, since phase 2, he has been a non-factor in the MCU. He had nothing to do with phase 3, nothing to do with Endgame, nothing to do with Infinity War. He had really nothing to do with any of those movies. It was all Kevin Feige, who was basically spearheaded and given control and learned under Alan Horn. So people are going to post all kinds of stuff on YouTube. You know, they're going to post like, oh, the end of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And that's just fabrication. That is just clickbait stuff. That is not factual information at all. Anyone who follows the climate and the stuff behind the scenes knows who Ike Perlmutter was, knows exactly what his role was, and why him and Kevin Feige were clashing so much in the early phases of the MCU. So to me, him being laid off, yeah, it sucks he lost his job, but he wasn't really doing anything anyway at this point. Not, at least not when it came to the overall Marvel Cinematic Universe. And yeah, Victoria Alonso being fired, now Ike Perlmutter. On paper, if you don't know what's going on behind the scenes, you just see this. Yeah, you can see and you're like, oh my God, what's going on over in Marvel? Like, it's chaos over there. But when you actually like dive deep into these situations and find out people like Victoria Alonso was producing a job, showed up at the Oscars for a completely different company that she has a contract with, and all this stuff, and then you see stuff like Ike Perlmutter, who was non-existent to the MCU for the past almost half a decade or more. You can see that these are actually a non-problem, a non-issue problem, right? This is a non-issue issue that I like to say. Like, none of this really has anything to do with anything, because they don't have a problem with the overall MCU and what's going on moving forward. So a lot of people are going to be just running with videos and titles that are just to get clickbait, just to try to throw gasoline on the fire, just to try to get a spark, to try to get some kind of like controversy going. But at the end of the day, the overall MCU product, this has nothing to do with it. But that's just my thoughts on it, guys. I want to know what you guys think. Also, tomorrow, I'm going to be doing another live stream with Dark Fox, and we're going to be talking about the future of Aquaman. Last week, me and Dark Fox did a Q&A, Ask Robert, and I really liked how that went. So this week, we're going to do the future of Aquaman. We're going to discuss the future of Aquaman moving forward into the DCU, the James Gunn new DCU after Flashpoint. We're going to discuss that. We're going to discuss this topic of Perlmutter. We're going to talk about a lot of different things in the world of entertainment. So I hope to see you guys tomorrow around 1 p.m. EST. I want to thank everybody for becoming Storm Nation members. We got about 11 or 12 new Storm Nation members yesterday. Thank you to Strike First Entertainment, who gifted those subs out. So thank you, everybody. Appreciate each and every one of you guys. I hope you guys all have a fantastic day. Leave your comments in the comment box below. And until next time, as always, I am Robert Storms, and that's my opinion.